In today's video, we're going to talk about Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars show on Disney Plus. Ahsoka, what has given Disney the confidence to screen episode 5 in selected theaters. But what's fascinating is it's also screening here in the United Kingdom, which is insane. So what is going down in episode 5? So recently we went over a bunch of plot leaks that have been confirmed to be true because it stated multiple things that happened before previous episodes come out. But there's been some new big reveals. That's a huge big reveal that was actually revealed last year on Making Star Wars back in December that apparently isn't gonna happen, or is it gonna happen? So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you here with a video on Star Wars Ahsoka. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, Star Wars, pop culture based content that I personally try to cover on a daily basis. So I'm trying to cover much more content here on the channel. I'm really enjoying making content at the moment. So please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. Let me know down below what the freaking hell is going on. Are they even in the world between worlds? Apparently not. And also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at WashU to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful face. And also, if you could, check us out on Twitter, WashUG. Right, let's get into it. So, careful spoilers. So the end of Ahsoka episode 4, we have Ahsoka waking up, and what appeared to be Darth Vader himself, Anakin Skywalker. Apparently, that's not actually Anakin. Interesting. Apparently, it's not even the world between worlds. What the freaking hell is going on here? What is Dave Filoni cooking up? It's gonna have to be something epic because, as I said, they are screening episode 5 here in England, and no one really cares about England. So let's break it down. There's some more leaks that have come from the Star Wars Reddit and the Star Wars document, and also that are floating around the internet. And there's a lot of people talking about it. So we need to go right the way back to an article that came out courtesy of Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. He has a really good track record, So this was posted back in December. We'll leave the article down below. So it says this: we will see many outcomes for Ahsoka's life, and how, in essence, no matter what, they will all lead to a particular moment in her story. Almost like this is a Star Wars version of Star Wars What If? It actually did sound really interesting. I would have loved to see this, but apparently it's no longer going to happen. Or is he just saying it's not going to happen because they were actually made aware that it leaked? So if Ahsoka had returned to the Jedi Order, she would have been the one fighting Darth Vader on Mustafar instead of it being, as we know, Obi-Wan. So she would have been the one fighting Darth Vader on Mustafar, having the high ground, not Obi-Wan Kenobi, because what happened had to happen to get Ahsoka to where she and Skywalkers needed to be. I can also confirm Hayden filmed fight scenes with Clone Wars Ahsoka in the scenario. Through the world between worlds, it seems present-day Ahsoka will learn that Anakin was destined to take the path he did, and we, the audience, will see aspects of the outcome in some of them as we see, like the live-action Clone Wars. Ahsoka played by a new actor in a duel with her former Jedi Master, taking the place of Obi-Wan Kenobi in this reality. So apparently this is not going to happen now, and this has been the longest rumor ever. It's been on the internet since December last year. Maybe they changed it because Dave Filoni and Disney and the people at Star Wars were made aware this leak was out there. I know this is actually true because they actually actively monitor Marvel leaks. The whole Doctor Strange 2 stuff got out, and I know personally that people at Marvel were reaching out to content creators to get them to stop covering Doctor Strange 2. Otherwise, they would lose their red carpet access. I'm not going to say who I'm on about, but I was told personally that happened. So there's some new rumors that kind of debunk the old rumors. So apparently we're not going to get to see Ahsoka take on Darth Vader. That would have been insane. So I will leave the link down below. I know some people say they do, but I will try to if I can remember. So let's break it down. So this is coming from Reddit. Bispin Bulletin on Santa and Making Star Wars stream. Ahsoka gets out from the world between worlds by being pulled out of the water. So this makes me believe something crazy is going to happen in this episode that nobody knows about. This is great because Although these scoopers in the Star Wars community, like making Star Wars, etc., have great track records, it's almost becomes like a theory. So she's going to get out of the world between worlds, which means she's not really in there, bro. So making Star Wars thinks Brendan Wayne's character, a pilot, is going to pull her in. Mando Wayne plays Mando in the suit most of the time. So the leak continues and says this. Hinted said about the young Ahsoka actress, she's been in $1 billion movie, so you're in safe hands, which hints it's Arianda Greenblatt. Making Star Wars theory confirms it is Arianda Greenblatt. The Mustafar scene doesn't exist in the final cut, according to economics in all canon moment and not what if scenes. Making Star Wars, the bottom line is the same. Ahsoka couldn't change her fate by staying in the order. Economics. Ryloth is going to appear, making Star Wars, it's a whole new scene. Also, the Sage of the Mandalore and the Battle of the Taith. The sequence ends with the siege, or sage, I guess it's siege, of Mandalore, and then she's pulled out by Brendan Wayne. Rex, the person in the armor, is not Taramore Morrison. He's only the voice. No helmet, off. Both Phase 1 and Phase 2 armor are in the show. Making Star Wars. If he understands correctly, she isn't really in the WBW, World Between Worlds, and it's not really Anakin, but it's in her mind, not how the World Between World works in Rebels. In this end, you can interpret it's either a dream, she imagined it, or something is going on via the Force. Economic. Doesn't know anything about Anakin being a Mortis god. Making Star Wars. Not everybody, this is to do with the ending of the series, makes it home. At the end of the season, Ezra makes it home for sure, though. Making Star Wars understands that Ahsoka demands season 2. That could be bad, it could be good, we don't know. Making Star Wars. Shin and Balon's story goes way beyond the season. That's probably why I said it needs a season 2. There are plans for these characters. I'm of the opinion that Ray Stevenson would need to be recasted for obvious reasons. Making Star Wars. Again, the creatives really hated the idea of turning Mando into a movie because they have so much more story to tell. And if the story is far great in terms of how depth and how much source material there is, then maybe it's not the best case scenario. So these are the updates for episode 5. If they happen, I still think there's going to be an absolute shocker that no one has heard anything of, because why are they screening it in an actual theatre? That makes absolutely no sense. So we're going to go over a few more things that we didn't go over in the last Star Wars video to do with the potential ending of the series. So careful for spoilers. I don't want to ruin your life. So allegedly, the Night Sisters here will be revealed to have been guarding the main galaxy from a threat that came before and will come again. Does that imply there's a greater threat than Thrawn? That's subjective, I guess. And it's always worth saying we don't know how official and how real this kind of information is. They will even turn to the dark arts to succeed in their mission. Ezra senses it's present, but doesn't know what it is, nor is it revealed yet in this series. That's interesting, and how that could lead to season 2 potentially. The Purgil were created and apparently belong to the Night Sisters. The new Beyond is like a satellite galaxy just beyond the unknown regions. It is here that the Mortis god, Eye of the Webbish Bog, Bendu, originated. The Night Sisters also use a force of lightsabers, and it's like Ezra, they are bone carved. Their lightsabers are all pink, white, in crystal colors. There's also the use of bows like the counterparts on Dathomir, and they use war rankers. They have Eastern European accents. For those curious about Thrawn, we're going to go over some details now. He is decked out in his standard uniform. Some of his crew survived. Lyres also wears hair extensions. And he really does look like the Rebels version of Thrawn. It is very well done. He has the ridges on his forehead and the eyes appear to be red via CGI, but blue skin makeup. Ezra somehow convinced Thrawn to start building a fleet after he and the Night Sisters sense this danger coming. The Night Sisters even raised thousands of their dead, viewing it as needed evil. So this is quite important because I guess people want to know when this is going to happen. Ezra will reunite with Ahsoka and Sabine, of course, in episode 6. They don't show how Ezra and Thrawn interacted or what occurred straight after they jumped in the Rebels finale. I assume Dave will tell in a follow-up series, potentially. They aren't friends, but they work together. Ezra has basically been patrolling the new beyond with the Night Sisters like a policeman, watching for any trace of this threat. Thrawn has been gathering as many sources or resources as he can. There are a few other planets in the new beyond with new aliens. It isn't really populated as the main galaxy. Ahsoka white staff she finds in a temple on an unknown planet. It is navigational staff and made of retcon bone. It was created by the sisters, and it allows a Force user to see the satellite galaxy and how to use it, kind of. Sort of like Kenobi putting the data back in to find Kamino in episode 2. So that's most of the narrative for how Thrawn and how Ezra are supposed to essentially return. And then it goes into a bit more detail where it says this. You gotta remember, none of this is confirmed or verified. Thrawn does return to the core known galaxy at what I believe is the climax of the 8th episode and final episode of the season. Source describing exiting his ship, I think, with his forces before him. He takes it in the moment, looks at his ally, relevant in the moment, and promises a reckoning is coming. But what's interesting is, if you go back to what they say about episode 5, that it's not actually Anakin and she's not actually in the world between worlds, at the end of these notes here, it says Anakin shows up in episode 8, right at the end of the season finale, as a Force ghost, waves and smiles. Interesting. So it is a kind of case where believe what you want to believe. I just find it interesting to go over plot leaks and a supposed real information, because for me, it's all just theory-based stuff, really. It's just like someone coming up with theory. There's so much information. I will leave the Google Doc below if I remember. Ezra has quite a few good action scenes in the show, but it's unclear if he has a new lightsaber in them. Ezra and Sabine have some action scenes together, apparently, where Sabine actually uses her lightsaber. Cool. So basically, I'll leave it down below if I can remember. Or it's on Reddit. It's on the Star Wars Reddit. Just look there. But I do like going over these kind of stuff. I find it fascinating and endearing. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WooStew. Check us out on Twitter, OSTJ. And I'll catch you in another video very soon, guys. Catch you later.